Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem and welcome back to today's Daf, Menachos Daf Yud. We begin on Talmud Bavli, 9 lines from the bottom of the Yamid. So back to the Mishnah, Kamatz b'smoil puzzle. Right? If the Kohen does the Kmitza using his left hand instead of his right, as required, the Mincha puzzle. Now, how do we know that right hand is required? Minan Emili, Amar Bizera Damakro. We have a pasuk in Vayikra, Perek Tes, pasuk Yud Zayin, discussing the act of Kmitza and denoting the requirement of the right hand. He filled his palm, his hand, he scooped out of it. Now, kaf can mean right or left. Kaf ze'eni yedei ma, I'm not sure which hand they used to make the kmitza. But then we look at the pasuk, which speaks about a mitzvah, where the kohen takes the lug, the certain amount of oil, pours it into his left hand, and there the pasuk identifies and points out that it's the left hand which is going to receive that oil. Al kaf, so the same lashon kaf, hakoyin, and this time it's hasmolis. Why does the Torah have to highlight that this time it's the left to indicate kan smolis? In fact, in this instance, the left hand is being used. But otherwise, wherever else we have the term kaf used, right, it's going to be the right hand. Kan, only in this case, by the mitzvah. Kaf means left hand smolis. Ha kol makim shnamar kaf, but otherwise, wherever else we find the term kaf, such as by the kmitza ve'mincha, ein el yamin, it's exclusively meant to be his right hand. Ask the Gemara. Fine, this is the source that kmitza is meant to be done with his right hand. How do we know? Who says this pasuk? That the Matzorah, by the Matzorah it's the left hand, is meant to indicate that otherwise, elsewhere, kaf means right. Perhaps the point here is to tell you that it should be his left hand. It can't be his right. That's all. The pasuk is not implying that elsewhere the term kaf means anything else. It's just simply instructing us how to do the Matzorah process. Smolas achrin aksiv, the answer is, in the same discussion by the Matzorah, it mentions smolas again. What's the point of duplicating it? Apparently, it's to stress and to emphasize that it's only here that left hand is used. But otherwise, by your standard kmitza, where it says the word kaf, it means the right. Ask the Gemara. Well, who says that's how we are meant to learn this duplicate pasuk? You know, we have a rule that when the pasuk presents a double miut, a double exclusion, it's called miut achar miut. It turns things around, inside out. Instead of being exclusionary, it's meant to be It's meant to be inclusive. And perhaps that's the point of repeating the word smolis. Unrelated to the halacha of kmitza with your right hand, it's meant to tell you that over here, by the pouring of the oil of the mitzvah, he can use his right hand as well. Smolis, right? Miut and miut tells you, you know what? Right is okay. Ve'ema, ein miut achamiut elul rabbis. Perhaps the point of the double miut is to allow the right hand by the mitzvah as well, but it's not coming to tell you regarding the halacha of kmitza being with your right hand. The answer is, actually it says smolis yet a third time, smolis achrin uksiv, by the mitzvah, and this one is certainly going to tell you kan smolis, that in fact over here by mitzvah you can use the left, vein achar smolis, but otherwise, where the term kaf is used, such as by kmitza, smolis is not acceptable. You need right. Perhaps we can learn this pasuk just the other way around, just the opposite. Ma kan smolis, af ba'alma nami smolis. Just as the term kaf over here means left hand, perhaps kaf elsewhere also means left hand. Instead of going the other way and saying, well, only over here it's left and otherwise it's right, perhaps just the opposite. We equate all the others to the Metzora. Left is fine. The answer is we had smallest yet a fourth time. And now there's no way out. Now certainly the Torah is emphasizing. Only by Metzora could you pour the oil into the left hand. The only way here is kaf, a reference to the left, but typically it's the right hand only. Arba smallest ksivi, it says smallest 4 times. Trei ba'ani, trei ba'asher, twice by the poor Metzora, twice by the wealthy one. So in any case, we have it all worked out. We know that Kmitza must be done with the Kohen's right hand, because the term kaf refers to the right, as we said from Metzora, as explained. Amar le Rabbi Yirmi Rabbi Zera. I have a question. Once we're discussing the psukim and the repetitions by the Metzora, so you can ask a question as follows. We have a wealthy Metzora, we have a poor Metzora, and in all cases, there's a process where the Kohen applies the blood of the carbon onto the thumb, the right thumb of the Metzora, onto the right large toe, onto his right earlobe. Now, first you put the blood, and then on top of that, they add the oil that we referenced before. Now, why does the Torah have to give you instructions in terms of the location, where to apply the oil? It's obvious. If it already says put it on the blood, on where they put the blood, so that's where you go. So if the blood is meant to be on the right, as the pasuk explains, on the earlobe, on the toe, right? So the oil as well. Why do we need repeat instructions in terms of location for that oil application? Al boyin on the thumb, yada hayamanas of his right hand. Al boyin ragla smallest on the right large toe. The chsiv b'shem the Metzora, where the Torah is instructing by the Metzora where to put the oil. Normally, what's the point? It already tells you in the other pasuk to put it on his on the same pasuk, to put it on his on makom dama asham, where they put the asham blood. So he says like this. The reason why the Torah repeats the location, chad lahachshut stadeh, v'chad lahachshut lifsel tzidei stadeh. The reason why the Torah will tell you where to put the oil. Al boyin yadai, va'al boyin raglai. One is to allow the Kohen to place the oil on the sides of the thumb as well. Al could sometimes be nearby. It's not only on top, but on the sides as well. And the next repetition is to tell you only the sides, but not tzidei tzaddim, the sides of the sides, meaning the side that's facing the bottom. Down on the floor. So top is fine, the sides, but not the bottom side. That's the point of repeating the word al. Next question is why al dam ha'asham? And then again, al mokaim dam ha'asham, one by the asham, one by the ani. It's a repetition. Place the oil on the asham, blood, on the place where they put the asham blood. Hani tzrich, the answer is both are needed. There's a lesson in both. Because of Rahmana, al dam ha'asham. Had the Torah only said, place the oil on the dam of the asham, I would say, got to make sure there's blood still there. Have amin. You say, if the blood is still around, yeah, you could place the oil on top of it. But let's say the blood got wiped away, you can't do it anymore. Kos rachmana al mukayim. Right, dam asham, to tell you on where they placed the oil, the blood, that's enough, even though it's been wiped off. Because rachmana al mukayim. On the other hand, if the Torah would only say al mukayim, I would say, got to make sure that to wipe it away. Only on the place, but the blood itself can't be there. But if the blood would be there, it's a problem. Makes it worse. Perhaps presents a barrier between the oil and his skin. Kamashmon Adam Asham comes to the Torah and says, no, you could even put the oil on top of the blood itself. It's not a chatzitz. Now comes Rava with a kasha. So, at this point we know that the kmitza must be done with the kohen's right hand based on the psukim, right? Smallest, mentioned by the Metzora. So that was Reb Zera speaking. And furthermore, explain to Reb Zera why we need these additional psukim. Besides the bottom of the fingers, on the blood, the place of the blood. Okay. Comes Rava with a question. Amar Rava. Once the Torah specifies that the shem and the oil is placed where the dam of the asham was placed, where is that? We already know. Look at where you place the blood. Torah specifies the dam of the asham is placed on the right thumb, the right, etc. So why does the Torah have to specify that the oil is placed on the right thumb, the right toe, the right ear? It's repetitious, right? Al boin yada imanis, that's right thumb. Al boin ragla imanis, that's right toe. Which the Torah specifies in terms of applying the oil by the mitzvah, who's the usher, mitzvah who's the ani. It's all repetition. It's all repetitive. So we understand why the Torah has to say al boin yadai, al boin raglai. We explained before to tell you, the sides are okay, the bottom is not. Fine, but what about Yamin? That's already known from where they place the dam of the asham and the oil is on top of that. What's the point of stressing Yamin? It says Rava Elama Rava. Let me explain to you. And actually, he's going to veer away from Reb Zera in terms of the source. How do we know that Kmitza in a mincha is meant to be with the kohen's right hand? According to Reb Zera, it was based on smallest, right? Rava provides an alternate source. Elama Rava. The word Yamin by the Metzora, right? Al boyin yada yemanis, the right thumb, is meant to offer a source for kmitza by a korban, by way of Gzera Shava. Yad the kmitza. It says yad by the Metzora, boyin yada. It says yad by the mincha as well. By Yamali Chapoy, uses his hand, right? So that tells you that kmitza is with the right hand. Yad the kmitza. Next, what about al boyin raglai hayamanis by the Metzora, the right thumb, the right toe? That's meant to tell you halacha regarding chalitza. Regel chalitza. So it says raglai yamanis, and by chalitza it says that the widow removes the shoe, right, off the brother of her deceased husband, right, who refuses to marry her. It's meant to be off his right foot. Regel chalitza. Oizen l'ritzia. From the word Tunuch Oizen Hayamanis by the Metzora, is right earlobe, we learn that ritzia, the boring of the ear of the slave who wants to stay on past the required years, he gets his ear bored. Which one? His right ear, because it says Oizen Yamanis here. It says Oizen over there. Oizen l'ritzia. We have Gzera Shava. That is done on the right. Okay, so that explains the word Yamin by the hand, the foot, the ear. So that's regarding the Metzora Asher. Now if we move over to the Metzora Ani, we have the same repetition. Smallest, first of all, smallest Mayasa, before we get to the Metzora Ani. What about the extra word smallest, which it says by the Metzora Asher actually, right? It says smallest. Again, right? So according to Reb Zera, that was to teach us regarding mincha. According to Rava, what's the point? Smallest l'mayas. Amar Shish Davidi live sol yimin the kohen b'metzera. To tell you that only the left hand of the metzera of the kohen can be used for receiving the oil of the metzera, but you can't pour it into your right hand. I would think if left is okay, certainly the right is okay, right? Shall I tell you, I shouldn't even have a notion. We find by typical avoid of karbanis where left is unacceptable, the shaps yamin, the yamin is included, is allowed. Certainly by the metzora, where the kohen can use his left, certainly is right. By the pouring of the oil, where the left is okay. In adin, wouldn't I imagine shaps yamin, the right is okay too? Comes the turn and repeats, no, left and left only. Now, v'idach smolis. What about by the Mitzvah Ani, where it also says smolis, and also it says, the right thumb, the right toe, the right ear, right? All those. We discussed the ones by the Asher. What about the Mitzvah Ani? Yad Regel Yimonis of the Ani, the Mayasa, what's that coming for? The answer is we don't really have to explain, because the Torah sometimes will repeat a whole discussion for the sake of something new that was learned in that second discussion, which is that a Mitzvah Ani has its own carbon system. And that's why once it discusses it, it already brings in all the other elements, even though it's really repetitive, because it's already known from the Mitzvah Asher. Look at the Tana, the Rabbi Shmuel, as was learned in the Beis Rabbi Shmuel, called Parsha Shenemra, Venishnis. Whenever we find that a Parsha discussion was discussed once, and then repeated again, but the purpose is to teach us something new, inherent in that second presentation. And that's the primary purpose of repeating it. And therefore everything else, all the details and descriptions come along with it. We don't really have to dwell on that. Okay, so bottom line is we have halacha in the Mishnah. Kamitza dafka with the kohen's right. How do we know? Reb Zera learns from Smolis, according to Rava, from Yad of Mitzvah. Now comes the Gemara that we actually had almost word for word back in Maseches Vachim, so it's a good review. Once on the topic of the kohen's right hand, Amar Rabba Bar Bachana Amar Shimon Lakish, Kol Malkim Shenemra Etzba Kuhuna. Whenever throughout the Korbanos we find the term Etzba, the kohen's finger, Ukuhuna, and the term kohen used, Eina Ela Yamin is telling you that the kohen must use his right hand only. And we'll see in a minute how we know that. Because the more at this point figured both terms together. Etzba Kuhuna Be'ina. In order to require right hand, it needs to say etzba and kohen, because as we find by the carbon chatos, that's going to be the source, where it actually stipulates right, and it says both terms. It says etzba and kohen, so we know that both terms equal the right hand. We look at kohen midama chatos be'etzboi, and hold it, we're not done. He learns from the Metzora. V'gamar mi'metzora. The chatos will learn from the Metzora. The chsiv v'taval ha'kohen is etzba yimanis. The kohen dips his right finger, so we see that etzba, and kohen together indicate right. Okay. Says the Gemara, hold it. By Kmitza, it doesn't say finger, it just says kohen. How do we know right is required? Hari Kmitza l'ksiva ba'al kahuna. By the Kmitza only says kahuna, right? So the kamatza kohen. And we just learned in the Mishnah, Tanan, kamatza with small puzzle, left hand by Kmitza's puzzle. So apparently, even without the word etzba, you need right. Amar Rava, you're right. You're right. One or the other. Oy etzba kahuna. Wherever it says one or the other, either etzba or kohen, it means the right hand. And that covers kmitza, it covers, right? All of the other ones as well. Only abai. Really? Whenever it says kohen, it means the right hand only? What about transporting the limbs of the carbon to the mizbeach? Harei halacha sivaram lakevesh. You take the limbs of the oila to the ram. T'chsivu kuhuna, where it says kohen. T'chsiv v'yikir v'akohen as hakol vikter mizbecha. It says kohen. But we learned left hand is fine. We learned that this pasuk is referring to transporting the Avarim to the Kevesh. So now we have a Mishnah that the kohen would use his left hand as well. Haregel shel yamin b'smoil, the right foot of the animal in the kohen's left hand, the b'ser l'chutz, and the place where it was cut from the animal that's facing the kohen, it should look unsightly. And the base oira, the whole part of the leg where they flayed the skin, so the closed part is facing out. In any case, clearly he was using his left hand for avodah. Answers the Gemara, it's not a critical part of the avodah. When do we say wherever it says one or the other, it means right hand only? B'davar makav kapara, it's only regarding a phase of the avodah which is critical, but transporting the avarim, which is not critical phase. Carbon is fine without it, technically. So kohen is not right hand is not required. Ask the Gemara about Kabbalah, what about receiving of the blood of the carbon, which is certainly critical to the process. Davar makav kapara is critical for the kapara. Because of a kahuna, it says the word kohen, it's referring to Zukabal Sdam receiving the blood in a container. So now we have a Mishnah. Kibul b'smoil pasal. If he received the blood with his left hand, it's pasal. Reb Shimon says it's okay. How could it be okay? It's an avodah. It's makav kapara. It says kohen. Answer is according to Reb Shimon, it's different. You're right. Reb Shimon has a higher bar. Reb Shimon Ka'amr, you talking about Reb Shimon? Oh, Reb Shimon Tarti Boy, according to Reb Shimon. In order to require a right hand, you need to have etzba and kohen. As opposed to Kabbalah, where it only says kohen, not etzba. So it's a different shita. Really? When we buy Reb Shimon Tarti, Reb Shimon requires both terms etzba and kahuna to indicate the right hand. Batani, we have a rice, Reb Shimon Oimikol Makam Shnemar Yad. Ein Ela Yimin. Wherever it says the word yad, that means the right hand. Or wherever it says etzba, it means the right hand. Elon limin. Apparently, you don't have to have both terms. You're right. It says in more etzba loy kuna. Wherever it says etzba, a very specific term is finger, that in itself indicates right hand without the word koyin alongside it. Kuna by etzba. But when it says just koyin, it's not sufficient to indicate the right hand unless it says etzba as well. Ask the Gemara. Well, according to Reb Shimon, Kabbalah need not be done with his right hand, so why does he even say koyin? Ela koyin, the word koyin by the Kabbalah, normally, what's the point? The answer is bikuhunai. To tell you that, right, it already says Bnei Aaron. Why do you have to say koyin? To tell you bikuhunai that he must be wearing his garments, which sort of enable him to be a functioning koyin. And that's the point of saying the word koyin. Ask the Gemara, what about zrika? The application of the dam on the mizbeach, where it doesn't say etzba, it doesn't say yad, it just says koyin. So according to Reb Shimon, you don't need the koyin's right hand for that. For zrika, like so, because of belakun, or just says kuna. With Nana we have a Mishnah. Zork b'smoil is possible. I use the left hand for zrika, it's possible. For like Reb Shimon doesn't seem to argue on that. Why? It only says koyin and no more. According to Reb Shimon, that doesn't indicate right hand. Amar Abaye, Palag Brisa. We have a Brisa actually, but he does dispute it. The Sanya. Kibol b'yad small apostle, Reb Shimon Machsh. Tanakama says Kabbalah with his left is possible. Reb Shimon says it's okay, and the same thing with Zrika. Zorak b'smoil is possible, according to Tanakama, Reb Shimon Machsh. So clearly Reb Shimon, who requires etzba to indicate right hand, will allow the Kabbalah or the Zrika with his left, because there's no lashon of etzba. However, according to Chachamim, one or the other, either it says koyin or etzba, either way would indicate right hand only. Ask the Gemara. So let's go back to the previous discussion. Rava tells us, Yad Yad the Kmitza. We learn from the Yad Yamin of the Mitzvah that any Kmitza must be done with his right hand. Normally, why do we need a special Gzeir Shav, a special source for that? Why don't we just simply use this formula? Mikuhun Nafka, wherever it says Kain, it means the right hand. So we know that Kmitza is with his right. Answer is like this. There are two parts to the Kaimitz. Chad the Kaimitz, Chad the Kiddush Kaimitz. One is to tell you that the actual Kmitza, the act of Kmitza, needs the right hand. And one is to tell you the Kiddush of the Kaimitz, where they place the Kaimitz in a Klisharis to sanctify it, that also needs to be done with his right hand. So we need two sources for two aspects of the Kaimitz. Now one more question. According to Reb Shimon, why do we need that Zerushav of Yad Yad of Kmitza? To tell you, right hand only, that seems to be unnecessary according to Reb Shimon. You know why? As follows. Because regarding the Kmitza of the Mincha, Reb Shimon has a different source that the right hand is required, because he compares it to a Karban Chatas, which certainly requires the right hand because it says Etzba there, right? So he has a different source. Why does he need this Zerushav Yad Yad, which is totally superfluous according to him? The Reb Shimon, the Leiboy Kiddush Kaimitz. Now, according to Reb Shimon, first of all, doesn't even need to put the Kaimitz in a Kli to be Mekadosh. That's his opinion. Ulamanda Amar, Nami the boy Kiddush Kaimitz Reb Shimon. Even according to the opinion that says that Reb Shimon does require Kiddush Kaimitz, Bismalach Shuri Machshar. He allows you to do it with your left hand. So according to him, there's no need for a pasuk that Kiddush Kaimitz is with his right. Because either you don't need it at all, or left hand is okay, so why do we need that Zerushav of Yad Yad, of Rava from Mitzvah? Yad Yad, the Rava Lomali, it seems to be an extra Zerushav. Ilik Mitzugufa, I'll leave the Reb Shimon. Let's break it down step by step. To provide a source that the act of Kmitza itself requires the right hand, we have another source for that, as follows. It's not from a different source. Don't read the Reb Chia. My time, the Reb Shimon. What's Reb Shimon's source that you don't have to have Kiddush, Kmitza, and a Klisharis? The Makra, the Pasuk, describing a Mincha. equates it to a chatas and an asham. Interesting equation. Kodesh Kodashim. The mincha is Kodesh Kodashim. Chatas, asham. What's the point of comparing it to two types of karbanos? What's the correlation all about? There are two methods, two options in processing a mincha. If he chooses to simply take the kaimets manually and put it on the mizbeach without a kli, sure, go ahead, be my guest, do it just like by a chatas, where the application of blood is done directly with his finger, right finger. Okay? But if he decides to transport the kaimets in a kli shoresh to the mizbeach, sure, do it like the asham, where the application over there, the dam on the mizbeach can be done with his left hand as well. As we explained before, according to Reb Shimon, you can do zrika b'smayil. So clearly, Reb Shimon has his own source. Now, the act of kmitza must be done with his right hand, because we compare it to a chatas, where the activity is with his right hand, because it says etzba there, right? So the kmitza as well requires the right hand. And regarding Kiddush Kaimetz, well, either it's not applicable or you can do it with the left hand. So what's the point of the extra Gzera Shav of Yad from the Mitzvah? Answers the Gemara, interesting answer. Although a regular mincha requires kmitza with his right, even according to Reb Shimon, by a minchas choite, a sinner's mincha, I would think maybe, we downgrade it. Right hand is not required for the kmitza. Why? According to Reb Shimon. Perhaps I would say, Reb Shimon explained to us. Reb Shimon delves into reasoning, right? The rationale behind certain halachas. So he says, you know why a minchas choite is bare, no oil, no lavain. You know why? We don't want the Torah doesn't want the carbon of the choite to be beautiful, enhanced, just plain bare bones. So perhaps that also allows using his left hand, right? Perhaps if he does the kmitah with his left, it's also fine, because it's not the highest level of a mincha. Kamashmon comes the pasuk of yad from the Metzora to tell you that even a minchas choite requires kmitah with his right only. Okay. So now we have actually three sources for the halacha that kmitza must be done with the kohen's right hand. Either Reb Zera's pshat, smallest, extra smallest from the Metzora. Either Rav's pshat, yad the kmitza from the Gzera Shava to Metzora as well. Or according to Reb Shimon, the equation to the chatas, which requires the right hand, tells you that the kmitza of the mincha is also done with the kohen's right hand only. All the best to you and atzlach.